Dana. Hey, congratulations on Dear Santa documentary.
Thank you so much.
So here's the easy question. What sparked you the idea of creating a documentary for Dear Santa?
Sure. So I didn't know anything about this program, about what happens to the thousands, hundreds of thousands of letters that get sent to Santa every year. I had no idea if anything happened to them. And then about 8 years ago, my mom bought me a book that the United States Postal Service put out on the 100-year anniversary of this program that they had called Operation Santa. And I was reading about these letters and what happened, and the elves that work on it, and I was like, wait, this is the coolest thing ever. And it would be an amazing film, but it's December 15th, and I can't quite write to them right now. They're busy at the USPS. So every year I would have the same dialogue in my head. And then finally in 2018, I said, okay, this is ridiculous. I had just done 2 family-friendly films. I was about to do a show for Disney Plus, and I just had to do it. So I wrote to them and said, please reach out to me whenever you get a chance after your busy time is over, but I really, really want to make this film.
So it was that easy? You just reached out to them and they said, "Yeah, sure, let's do it."
It's funny, like I was thinking about it the other day, like I've done 6 films and every single one of them I have gotten, like I've literally had a cold call email and then they happen. It's really weird, like you wouldn't expect that. But it wasn't quite, like, so the first, like they wrote back to me right away and it was the press office, and then they got me in touch with the people who ran Operation Santa, and then they put it up the flagpole there, and like every meeting we would have on the phone, it would be like more and more people, like these big conference calls where more and more people. And then, finally they said, like, we're really interested, but we have 2 deal breaker rules. Can you tell us about this? And I was like, yeah, what are they? And they're like, 1, you can't ruin Christmas for children, and 2, we can't show any personal identifying information of any of the letter writers. So, you have to guarantee that you're going to be able to protect that if you see any. And I was like, okay, not a problem with the identifying information. And I made a joke out because I'm Jewish. I was like, what do you think, the Jewish filmmaker is going to ruin Christmas? There is no way I'm ruining Christmas. I love Christmas. And so I guaranteed that we would not ruin it. And they were okay.
Well, of course, you did remind them that this is not a documentary for children. Children's not watching this. This is much more for us adults who are curious, right?
Yeah, I think so. When we made it, we think kids can watch it. Like, it's definitely in the world of anybody, any age can watch it. Because Santa, the kids themselves narrate the world, and so we made it family friendly for everybody.
So you did not know about Operation Santa for some unknown reason. I think I knew since I was younger. I just never wrote a letter or anything like that. But I just didn't know where all the letters actually go. I knew about writing letters, and it goes somewhere.
Yeah.
But tell us more for those people who haven't watched a documentary.
Yeah, so basically 108 years ago, the postmaster general then was seeing a lot of letters come into Santa. So he got a hold of Santa. They had a meeting. He said, can we help you with these letters, because we get so many coming in? And Santa said, yes, I approve that you guys help us with the letters. So ever since then, the USPS has been dealing with the letters. A lot of the employees there work on it on their off hours, and they have become Santa's elves. And so now anybody can, they did recently in the last several years have started digitizing all the letters because Santa's workshop became more digital. And they've allowed people like us to apply to become elves. And unless you're really naughty, you get approved, and you can look through the letters and become an elf yourself. And so last year, I adopted several letters, and it was awesome. And I'm planning to do a lot more this year now that I have more time.
So you yourself became an elf. You actually fulfilled some child's dreams out there.
Yes, I did. Although I was so busy and running around shooting the film that I got them and I started working on them, and then I had to pass them off to my mom to finish them because I was too busy to deal with them. So we like tag teamed the elf situation.
So for some of those people who want to be elves, is it just as easy as just to go to the post office, or is it like an online application, or do we have to mail a letter to Santa himself wishing to be an elf?
No, you can go online to USPSOperationSanta.com, and you can apply right there. And the letters all go live. Like right now, if you went there, you could look at last year's letters, just to get an idea of what they are. But on December 4th, on Friday, they're all going to go live from this year, and then they'll continue updating them as they come in. So you can look through the letters, you can apply to be an elf right there, and then you can adopt your own letters. It's really cool.
Well, now, concerning your documentary, after you got permission from the USPS to the green light to do Dear Santa, where do you start? Because this is a massive operation and you're just a documentarian.
Yes, it was it was a little naive actually to think of how crazy it was. But so we were ready to shoot in November, but the hard part about it was there was really no letters to shoot. So we were kind of like twiddling our thumbs waiting for the letters to come in. And then once they came in, we would, we were interested in ones that they already section off to, and they're called special requests. So most of the letters that come in, as you can imagine, are for toys or iPhones or Xboxes. And we weren't really interested in all those. We were interested in all the other ones that are like, a lot of needs, pets, funny things, like anything that was a little different, we were interested in. So USPS would send us the list of the ones that might be interesting, and then I would choose like yes, 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 and then they would send an express mail letter out to the parents of the writer, because I couldn't know who they were, and said, hey, your child has written a letter to Santa. It's caught the attention of a filmmaker. Please call her or email her if you're interested in hearing about her film. So we were like waiting by the telephone. It was very stressful. And then we were waiting for the calls to come in. And then once they did and people agreed, we'd say, okay, by the way, where do you live? And they would say Chicago, New York, Cleveland, Michigan, Arizona. And we would just start booking our flights and going.
Okay, well, that's a little bit of a crazy journey by itself. So no one really need massive convincing to participate. Everyone was very eager, or was there a few of them that you love their story so much that you had to convince them?
So most of the people, so I think about, I should look back on this. I think probably like 50% we never heard from. So of the people that we heard from, they were interested, There was one story that was really sad that I loved about a kid from the Bronx who wanted a violin and a book to learn how to play violin, and I just love that. And I had my heart set. I could like hear the violin in the movie. I was all happy. And the mom did write back to me. But she said, listen, my child I'm a foster mom, so I can't approve it without us writing, getting permission from the foster care company or agency. And so we had to like call to them, and then and they said no, and I tried to talk to the manager and get really, really like up the chain, and I was trying to be persuasive, but they didn't say yes in the end. So that was my sad one. But he did get the violin, so that's all that matters, really.
So was it easier to convince the elves to participate?
Yes. So the elves, the funny thing about the elves was once they adopted a letter, they already opted in to the program, so I could call them directly. And all the elves were I can't think of any elf that said no. Because, I think once you're giving, you don't mind putting that out there. It's good vibes, right? Good karma.
So overall, how many cities or post offices did you end up visiting?
We probably, I'd say went to like 15, maybe. And then we had, we were calling hundreds of places just because like a lot of people like post offices just do their own thing. So they're not even part of the general program, but they're doing this or that or the other thing. So we had a huge grid of all sorts of stuff that was happening. And then we had to like just decide carefully because we only had this like 4 weeks to shoot. So we had to be careful about where we spent our time.
So for Operation Santa, they couldn't fulfill all the wishes. So do they try to respond to some of the letters back, or did they just basically it just disappears in the in the vortex somewhere?
I think most of them get answered. I mean, I think it's a matter of how many elves know about it and get involved. And I think this year is like, I'm hopeful that people will watch the movie and realize they could do this. So last year there were certain times where we would go onto the site and there were no more letters left to adopt. So I think the concern is some of the letters come in very close to Christmas. So it's the ones that come in like December 23rd to December 24th when people are kind of forgetting that they still need to be elves. And so it's those later ones. So everybody who wants to do it should definitely go on around Christmas and make sure, because they come in a little late after Christmas. It still counts.
Yeah, no, I get it. I usually send my Christmas cards like 2 days right before Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
I just remember like that. So so the process for these elves, they just basically read the letters, see what touches them, adopt, and then fulfill the wishes on Christmas Eve.
They could do it whenever. I mean, they could send them. I think the USPS recommends you send them early. But yeah, you could do it anytime up to it. And this year because of COVID, I figure most people will be shopping online. So you can go online and get your stuff and then bring it home and wrap it and then bring it to the post office. It's gonna be really fun. I can't wait to do it.
So you're doing it this year then too?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this year I can like really turn my attention to it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So how much footage do you manage to get? Because I love your cinematography. It's very clear and crisp.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we had two amazing, and we had others, but we had two primary cinematographers. So Mike, who was with me, and we were always like traveling around the country. And then we had Martina, who was based in New York, and she went really between New York and Chicago. And we shot about 40 days. And so I always estimate that we shoot maybe like 4 hours a day. So about 160 hours, give or take.
160 hours. So there is a ton of stories that couldn't make it into your film.
Yeah, there were about 5 scenes, I believe, cut. They're edited scenes, at least 5, maybe 6 or 7, that we cut, shot and edited and everything, and that they didn't make the film. Because I do have an internal rule where I think all documentaries should be 82 minutes, between 82 and 85 minutes, and I'm pretty serious about that. I've had ones that are longer, and I think they're too long.
Where there was a specific story that you wish that you could have included into the documentary that you filmed?
I love all of them. I mean, I really love all of them. It's funny. I mean, there was one that when I was shooting, I literally got chills when we were shooting it because I loved it so much, which was there was a, at the Cleveland airport, I think at most airports, there's postal facilities where all the airmail comes in. And we were in the one in Cleveland, and they do this amazing program that they call the Angels program. And every year they go to the most underserved school in Cleveland, the very poorest kids in Cleveland, and they give them, these are postal workers, they give them a form that says, okay, what are the 3 things you want for Christmas? They don't even say, it's not related to Santa. They just said, this is our Angels program. The kids write what they want. The USPS workers bring it back to the facility where hundreds of people work, and they go around. And like all the people are at all the loud machinery, they take off their earphones. They said, "Hey, do you want to adopt this letter? It's a 6-year-old, a 6-year-old little girl. This is a 10-year-old little boy." And they all go around, they adopt them. And these are people working on the line. They're not people who make like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they all grab them, and I just got chills seeing that. I was like, "That's amazing." And then we went and we saw the kids all get their gifts. I mean, so we shot beginning to end that whole thing. But we ended up not using it because they weren't letters to Santa, So ultimately, this was a movie about what happens to the letters that go to Santa. So this was a little off topic, and we just decided to keep it straight.
It does seem like every Operation Santa for every post office does something a little bit different, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there are one. I mean, I think everybody can go into this is the first year actually that's like a total nationwide program. So I think every letter that is addressed to Santa or Santa North Pole or anything like that has a return address on it will go into the North Pole to digitize and then be available. But I think there are these programs that are like just been happening. We didn't go to shoot there, but there's a really cool program in Nebraska somewhere that we heard about. There's stuff in Alaska. Like there are a lot of different little tangents of this program. It's cool.
That's amazing because your documentary, not only you filmed it, it also touched you to be a part of it. That's terrific.
I loved it. I mean, I really, this was, and to be able to work on it throughout the worst year of all time. I mean, there was days that I was just working on this for 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, that I didn't even have to think about COVID or think about anything. I was just in my home office working on it, you know, and that was a real joy for me to experience this. I mean, I've been dealing with Christmas since like October of last year. I've been listening to Christmas music the whole time, watching Christmas movies all year. It was really fun.
That's excellent. So what's up next with you after you got this Christmas thing out of the way?
I know. I have to figure something out. I mean, the bar is pretty high now because, you know, I really love making like life affirming films. I mean, I have done a bunch of dark films before I got into my last three that are my more happy phase. But I'm looking for my next idea, and I mean, it's hard to top this one. I love it so much. So I am actively looking for any good life affirming stories I need to tell. So all ideas welcome.
Excellent. As I'm starting to wrap things up, obviously we're talking via Zoom, and it would have been excellent to speak face to face and show a bunch of letters, but you know, we're in crazy times right now. So I want to know is how are you staying creative and sane during times like this?
Yeah, I mean, working on this movie has been really, really helpful. So I've had like a singular purpose the whole time. And I like that was the main thing. And I really love the whole crew I work with. And so to be able to engage with them as much as possible and have calls with them and hear what they're doing and brainstorm ideas. Yeah, and just I've been trying to do yoga every day to help with the freeing of the mind. And it was hard, I'd say, around the election. I got really obsessed. But aside from that period, I think it was easier to just, you know, it's getting a little weirdly normal now, right? To be home all the time, and it's strange, but I'm trying to really come up with ideas, and this is really buoying me too, talking about the film for the last like 3 weeks. Has been really awesome because it's like, it's resonating with people. People want to have these kind of stories out there, and it's making me feel very creative about what's next.
I know we could easily dub that this is the feel good documentary of 2020, right?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hope so.
I
That's great.
certainly hope so too, because it makes me feel like I want to write a letter to Santa right now asking for other things. But anyways,
I'm gonna write him to see if he has an idea for my next film.
there you go. Well,
Yeah.
let us leave with one last thought. When
Sure.
people watch Dear Santa documentary, what is the one most important lesson that you hope that they take out of your film?
Gosh, I mean, can I say two? Can I say
Yeah,
two?
sure, go for it.
Okay. See, you're so nice. I knew it. Okay, so the first thing I would say is there's a quote in the film by one of the elves who says, "It's not what you have that matters; it's what you do with what you have." And I love that. You know, it really resonates with me, especially after going around and seeing, like I said before, about what the USPS workers do for others. And I just love that. So there's nothing that should stop anybody from helping each other, either in this way with Operation Santa or in any other way. Like, you know, just a little bit helps and a smile helps, you know? And then the second thing I would say is I really have always been very patriotic, and I love America. And I think over the last several years, it's been very difficult for me and maybe others to identify with being American. And I think that, you know, there's been a lot of positive steps this year. And I think this to me is the culmination of that. And to see these workers and elves, you know, workers turned elves in this movie are just salt of the earth American people doing the right thing for one another. It doesn't matter what city they're in. It doesn't matter. I don't know anything about their politics. It doesn't, you know, they're of all different races. And to see that is like what I think of the best of America. And if the film can come back, can make people feel that way, then I'm thrilled. It makes me feel that way.
Wow, that's some deep, insightful thoughts taking out of your documentary. You know what? I love it. I love the message that you're actually doing, and everyone should definitely check this film out during the holidays.
Thank you. I hope so. Thank you so much.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Dana, for speaking with me. It's very enjoyable. You really lifted up Christmas spirits by releasing this film during times like this.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. I can't wait till your next project, whatever that may be.
I'll let you know.
Excellent. Bye now.
Bye.